And we are on week 5 of the 13-week Total Wellness journey. And this is module 5. We're going to be talking about harnessing the infinite potential of the present moment with our affirmations. But first, we're going to recap weeks 1 through 4. And so just a little reminder of where we've been already. In week 1, we talked about foundations of energy, cultivating chi, and healing body field distortions. So hopefully everybody has incorporated some sort of foundational energy practice, whether you're taking your nest drops every day or you're doing a Qigong practice. Some of you I know did get the Pengu Shenggong activation from Keith, which is awesome. And so hopefully you guys are incorporating those, and that's just kind of doing its thing in the background, you know, real simple shortcuts to helping to increase and heal the energy of the body field. So in week 2, we talked about developing a mindfulness practice. And again, this is something that hopefully by now everyone is doing a little bit. Just maybe a 5-minute daily practice. If you can be doing it for longer than 5 minutes, that's even better. But the thing about it is the consistency. So consistency is really key. And even if you're not able to be consistent with it right now, that's okay. We do have several more weeks of this journey, and so you'll have an opportunity, especially in the last month, to really dive in and start to develop that daily practice. And so in week 3, we talked about recognizing, acknowledging, and clearing resistance with emotion code. And again, this is a daily practice. If you're doing it already, that's great. If you're not, that's okay too. But again, it needs to be something that you're eventually, if it resonated with you and you feel like it's a benefit to you, that eventually that you would begin a practice of your own and use it as a tool that really will help you to clear the resistance that comes up as we are developing and discovering our soul level intentions, which those are the anti-intentions that we talked about. So that was last week. We talked about discovering our soul level intentions and writing those out. So hopefully you were able to dive into that last week and get your soul level intentions, you know, start to really dive in and really take a look inside at what's really going on for you in terms of what it is that you really want to create with, you know, regard to the whole purpose that you set forth as going into this journey together. Okay, so now we are going to jump into what we're here to learn about today. And so for many of you, we've already been doing this practice, and I'm opening my notes here, so hopefully that you guys don't see the notes. But if you can see that, there's another window that just popped up that says slide 3 of 16. If you can see that, just make a note, like chat me in the chat box and let me know that you can see that so I can fix it so it's not overlapping the slides. But hopefully I fixed it this week so we don't have that problem. And so what is an affirmation? Again, many of you have already been practicing writing out your affirmations, your own specific affirmations, but we're going to dive a little bit deeper into it. We're going to really start to unearth some things that may be a little bit deeper. Go at your own pace, of course, whatever's comfortable for you, but I'm going to share some new things that actually came up for me this week and that Spirit really guided me to today in my meditation as I was asking what we needed to bring forward for today's class. So what an affirmation is, and most of you already know this, but it's a short mantra-like statement of inner truth and wisdom. It affirms the truth of who you are. Since you have taken the last week to set your intentions and look deeply at what you really want, you now have the awareness to create affirmations that will deeply resonate with your highest truth. Repeating affirmations consistently throughout the day helps to reinforce your truth and bring your vibration to the infinite potential of the present moment, where we access our preferred experiences with ease and grace. So we're going to talk a little bit more about the infinite potential of the present moment today as well. And there are all kinds of affirmations, right? And so when affirmations are recited with feeling, they are a powerful manifesting tool. We are literally creating with our words. And so what I want to do right now, as we go into the next slide, is we're going to take a moment to just get into the present moment. We're going to do a little mindfulness practice right now. And realizing that, I guess with what the work that I've been doing for myself, and hopefully you guys are also doing this level of work, but what I discovered is that truly, 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 there isn't any other moment besides this one. So as time marches on, and of course we are human beings in a 3D world living in a linear time pattern, but the truth is that everything happens in the moment, right? There isn't any other time for things to happen. Everything that's past, even just a second ago, is gone. Anything that's coming in the next moments, it's not here yet. So in this moment, this is when we have the opportunity to create through our thoughts and feelings and beliefs the things that are being attracted into our field. And so last week I did a talk at the expo, and I'm going to probably share that with you guys. I think I'm going to do another version of that, or like a webinar or live stream here soon. But basically what I did was I really went into the details about what's happening in the body field, some of the pioneering work that was done by several different authors that I've read, including Bruce Lipton, where he talked about how a cell expresses, right? And the cell is expressing, the gene is expressing what it's creating in the body as the body with its environment. So he was the pioneering researcher who realized in his experimentation that it's not a mechanical expression. It's the environment that the cell is in. And what's the environment that all of our cells are in? Our environment is our thoughts and feelings and beliefs, primarily. And then, of course, there's other influences that are outside of that in the field, right? But knowing that our thoughts and feelings and beliefs are so powerful to even the creation of what we're creating in our own bodies, it's also that alchemy, that stuff of creation, right? That we are using our words to create the thoughts and feelings that we're having, and that is attractive into our body field, into our auric field of experience. And so what an affirmation is really doing is it's just bringing our energy of our body into alignment with our truth of what we want to be creating. There's an energy of that. There's a frequency of that. And so where did it go? I thought that I copied and pasted that onto this slide, but obviously I didn't. So now I have to find it. So what I want to do, sorry, it's just going to take me a second to get to that. What I want to do is just read to you what an affirmation is. And you guys already know this, but I think that it's a really good mindfulness practice to repeat to yourself what an affirmation is. And I'm going to read it slowly. Sorry, I really thought that I had that on that slide, so it's just going to take me a second to get back to that. Okay. So as I read this statement slowly, I just want you guys to just close your eyes and listen to each word and just really dive into an understanding of what you're doing when you're creating your affirmations, okay? So an affirmation: in the present moment, I affirm the truth of my desired experience while reaching for the feeling and the vision of it. As I affirm, it is without doubt that the truth of my preferred experience, or something better, is entirely possible, entirely probable, and already existing somewhere. As I affirm, it is with the knowledge that I am actually creating within myself the vibration of my preferred experience, the feeling of it, which is the first manifestation. Because everything is created twice, once as a thought and once as a physical event. And as I affirm, it is with the knowledge that what I have become, this vibration, is attracted to me. It has to enter my experience per the law of attraction. And finally, as I affirm, it is with the knowledge that this moment is the only one. I must use it deliberately to my advantage. Okay, so I'm just going to let you sit with that understanding for just another moment as you really begin to tune in to how powerful the present moment really is. Okay, and so now we are going to talk about creating your own affirmations. And again, many of you have already done this exercise with me. We've worked on your intentions with whatever it is that you're wanting right now. And so we're going to actually take a look at doing this with your soul level intentions that you developed last week. And once you have awareness of your soul level intentions, you will be able to create an affirmation to anchor this intention. Again, the affirmation is a short mantra that encompasses the intent and the energy of the longer statement of your intentions. So your intentions can be 2 pages long, it doesn't matter. You can write a whole book about your intentions. The affirmation is just going to be a symbolic, short statement that really embodies that intent, right? And then repeating the affirmation to yourself will become your daily practice. Sorry, guys, I haven't been coughing all day, and now all of a sudden I'm having these little spasms in my lungs. So you may notice, of course, we've already talked about this as well, that as you dive into this process, the intentions and affirmations change as your awareness of your truth is revealed by the shedding of layers of low-frequency vibrations, thoughts, and feelings, and beliefs. Okay, so don't think that whatever intentions you created last week, they have to stay that. You'll become, increasingly aware of deeper and deeper levels of your own truth. And as that happens, you can create new affirmations for those. And so the affirmation, the intention is both a what and a why. Okay, so the intention that you've created is both a what and a why. So if the intention is something like, my intention for healing my body is that I have more energy and vitality, that my body be pain-free, and that I regain a healthy digestive system. The why for that intention is, this is my intention because I'm ready to live a vibrant lifestyle, be a more effective healer, and enjoy myself while I travel, and to eat and enjoy foods without any limitations. Okay, so that would be the intention. Then the affirmations, and you can create as many affirmations as you want. You can do one each day, a different one each day, or you can just pick one affirmation to do for a set period of time. So, for example, the affirmation on day 1 for that intention could be, I am willing to be an energetic and vital healer. And of course, you know that we put willing in there because sometimes willingness is all we can muster. The energy of willingness is really all we can achieve in that moment, right? And if we go beyond what we're able to really feel, then the affirmations don't have the power. We're not empowered by them because there's always going to be that energy of this doubt that this can actually happen, right? So putting the word willing in there is a really good way to kind of step into creating the affirmations when whatever it is that you're intending to happen for yourself is a little bit far off in the distance. So we could say on day 2, I'm willing to enjoy life. On day 3, I'm willing to be pain-free. On day 4, I'm ready to live a vibrant lifestyle. On day 5, I am energetic, vital, and enjoying life. On day 6, I am pain-free and healthy. And on day 7, I am grateful. And you can, of course, make them as short or as long as you need to. Okay? So now you're going to continue this process for 30 days, every single day. That would be the ideal. But at least do it for 7 days. Every day for 7 days. That's kind of the benchmark right now that we're at. When we get to the end of the program, we will be trying to do our practice for 30 days. So each day you want to really dive into the feeling, the vision, and the emotions. Your affirmations are bringing up by becoming true in your experience. And if a negative vibe comes up, of course, this is the anti-intention, then that's great. It means that the process is working to help you uncover the energies that have prevented you from living your preferred intentions. Acknowledge these errant thoughts and shine the light of your truth on them. They'll dissolve and bring you greater clarity on your truest intentions. All right, so you guys can feel free to throw any questions up as we're going along as well in the chat, and I will see those when they pop up. So right now, I want to share what actually came up for me today, because I had to take some time to really do a lot of meditation today. And I just love it. I just love when I really listen to my inner voice, I listen to my sacral, and I just do what I'm guided to do, and this amazing information just comes to me. And so as I practice my self-healing and communicate with my healer, the thing she keeps guiding me back to as the highest expression of this work is the practice of a deeper embodiment of self-love. And so to that end, I am gifting you all the 7-day self-love challenge. This is the same challenge that we just did two weeks ago or so in the Facebook group. But all the videos and everything are in this challenge that I'm giving you. And you guys just get that. There's nothing extra for you to pay for that. The link is going to be in the course modules. And so if you want to redo that 7-day self-love challenge on your own and go through it day by day and rewatch the videos every day, that will, I think, really help to jumpstart this self-love practice. But I have also been guided to help you explore this on an even deeper level than what we did before. So, working primarily with women, a common pattern that I can clearly see, and I believe Spirit is saying it's time to heal, is the inability for us to fully embody divine feminine energy as a result of being repressed, stifled, and traumatized sexually. We are unable to fully allow Qi into our lower chakras, to completely and powerfully stand in all of our energy as women, as sensual and sexual beings as we incarnated here on earth to be. So if you feel that you are unable to embrace your sensuality and sexuality as a divine feminine being, it will be difficult to embody self-love completely. And I honestly feel that this is a big problem. It feels like it's really huge for almost everybody that I've worked with, and we just don't address it. I think most of us are just so accepting of it. It just is what it is, that we don't address it, and then we don't understand why we can't love ourselves completely. And being able to love yourself completely means loving all of you, including your sexual nature, and allowing that energy to really fully embody yourself into the lower chakras. So the thing is that I don't have your answers on how to do this, but I know that you do. So what Spirit guided me to share with you today was that we just have to have courage and the willingness to allow the deepest truths and wounds to surface, and that's what's needed. So trusting that you are infinitely loved and supported in this process is also required. So we really have to begin to, in our meditation, really call in the divine love, the infinite love that we are, and really begin to recognize in the present moment that we have access to this infinite love, and to know that you are infinitely loved, you are infinite love, and you are supported. All of your guides and angels, all of those beings with love and light that love you unconditionally, you know, even people who are incarnated here on the planet, including myself, love you, and you are supported in this process. And then the other aspect of this is that I'm being shown is the emergence of divine masculine and their role in aiding and anchoring the energy of divine feminine. And this is something that's happening collectively on the planet right now. And so, you know, I gained this information through my own meditation, through observing things that came into my presence without going out and seeking it. But then, of course, I do go out and, you know, do my own research as well, and I look around to see what's out there, you know, just asking questions and looking for answers. But so if you go out and Google, you will see a lot of people talking about this divine masculine, divine feminine, and how it's time for it to anchor on the planet. But again, this all just came to me in my own meditation. And so what I was guided to share is that it's important to call in the energy vibrationally of divine masculine. And how do we do this? It's in your meditation, in your intention setting, and in your affirmations. And then allow your guidance to happen without concern. So you can, you know, so basically what I would do is in my meditation, I would just run through all of the energies that I'm calling in. You know, so I'm calling in infinite love. I'm calling in divine masculine energy. I'm calling in divine perfect relationships. You know, whatever the case may be of what you're calling in to your energy field. And then just let it go. Don't worry about it anymore. Don't think about it anymore. It's also important to understand what divine masculine archetypal energy looks like and feels like, as most men are only just coming into this energy themselves, and they may not fully realize their role in the collective healing process. And so I want to make it really clear that what I am not saying is that you need to call in this energy as a potential partner. This is not about finding a romantic partner. This is about calling in the energy that you need for being able to anchor divine feminine into your being. And it will show up for you as your energy needs it. So it might be a random kind person, you know, some guy that just randomly is super nice. A healthcare provider. For me, it was a massage therapist. A neighbor, a coworker. It could be anyone, right? So don't have any expectations on how you will attract this energy. Just, having the awareness and setting the intention that you're bringing this into yourself for your healing is all that's required. So I did want to share a little bit about my experience with you guys, just to, for full transparency, because, like I've always told you, I'm on this journey with you. And it was back in probably around September, over the summer, August, September timeframe. And I was doing a lot of meditation, calling in divine energies, calling in divine masculine, calling in, divine perfect clients, and just really actively affirming all of the things that I'm creating. And I had done the exercise of calling in divine masculine before, and had a pretty cool experience with that. And then, but then at that point in time, this was, like I said, last September, August timeframe, I was beginning that practice again of calling in divine masculine energy. And I was also doing a deeper self-love practice. And I was really looking to do this, what we're talking about right now, is, embodying more infinite self-love. And I wish I had grabbed my journals, and because I could read some of the journal entries from that time as well. There was just a lot of, I'm really seeking some change for myself, and really, doing this work. And so I was at the Women's Expo, and one of my coworkers had gone to another booth, and they were doing 5-minute massages. And she was like, "Oh, you need to go let that guy give you a massage." And I was like, "Oh yeah, okay, that's cool. I'll take a free massage." So I go over there, and it ended up being a 15-minute massage that I to this day cannot explain. This massage therapist is an energy healer as well. And he put me into still point breathing in a 15-minute massage. I don't know what he was doing, but it was one of the most powerful experiences I've had. It seemed like it was 5 minutes, but his wife was monitoring the time, and she was like, "Okay, it's been 15 minutes. You're going to have to, pay for that session if you don't, and I'm like, "Well, it's not me. He's the one who's doing it, but okay." So when I got off the table, I felt so expanded that it took me 20 minutes to collect myself and come back into my body. And I'm not saying that this is something that you can expect or that will happen to you. I'm just telling you that this is what happened to me. And then I decided to continue working with this massage therapist. And because we were on the same page energetically, there was definitely an exchange of divine feminine masculine energy between us. And we talked about it, and I did energy healing for him, and he did energy healing for me. And that lasted for just about three or 4 months, where we were exchanging these codes of frequencies of energy. But it really changed my being. I know that I was able to drop deeper into my body. I felt it physically, viscerally in my body. And a lot of things shifted for me in that time period. I don't want to take up too much time on this, in this class to go into that. But if you have questions about that one-on-one, I'm happy to share more details about what I experienced with that. So as of now, I still feel that shift that happened. My daily experiences with other people, especially with men, has completely changed. And the way that I feel about myself has completely changed. So anyway, just wanted to share that experience with you guys so that you'll maybe have a deeper understanding of where I'm coming from with this and why I feel it's so important to share this with you. So what we're going to do is I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about divine masculine energy and what it actually is so that you'll recognize this energy. And again, not necessarily as a partner, but just noticing it when it begins to come into your experience, because as you are calling it in, you'll start to see it expressed, maybe not all in one person, but certainly little glimpses of it here and there in different people. Okay, so the divine masculine represents a spiritual, psychological, archetypal ideal, the best and most inspiring, elevating and restorative aspects of the masculine expression and manifestation in the universe. He, along with the divine feminine, exists on a transpersonal, universal level that manifests through an individual's psyche and becomes thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors. And so actually what I had done at the time, I should mention, is that I kept hearing in my spirit divine masculine, and I was like, I don't even know what divine masculine is. Like, am I making this up, or is this really a real thing? And so I went out and I did some searches, and I kind of had a feeling about what it was. But when I read this particular article, this really solidified for me the definition of divine masculine. So that's why I'm sharing this with you guys. Okay, so there are, 6 archetypes. So there's the God, the king/father, the priest, the warrior, the lover, and the sage. And we're going to talk about each one of those in a little bit more detail here. So the first one, the God archetype, is the transcendent, connected to all that is aspect of self. It's the part of us that resonates with transpersonal, harmonious love for everyone and all beings. The God archetype is the domain of spirituality, mystical experience, and intuition. A man expressing the God archetype in its fullness feels like he is synergistically connected to all that is and has the confidence of knowing resulting from this connection, has spiritual balance and orientation, and emanates unconditional love to all in his sphere of presence. His power is in his presence, his spiritually centered awareness, focused completely in the present moment. He embodies love, compassionately expressed to whomever is within his sphere of presence. When with him, you find yourself inspired with new ideas and inspired connections, creating new experiences. He stands for and contributes to the furtherance of the divine right of happiness, equally for all races, genders, and sexual expressions. He leads by inspiring creativity, beauty, and truth, seeking fulfilling the highest ideals and principles through example and not aspiration alone. He is spiritually guided, supporting and sponsoring creation, transcendence, and resolution in all its forms. He seeds thought forms and ideas, releasing ownership for the greater good. A man in the fullness of God archetype shows up as unconditionally loving, inclusive, open, welcoming, heart-centered, spiritually focused, supporting, and inspirational. And I'll invite you to think about if you know anybody who's already embodying some of these as well. And if you want to share that, that's awesome. Because for me, for a long time, I was like, there's nobody that embodies these things. And now, of course, I know that that's not true. All right, the next one is the King Father. The archetype of the king actively plays the central role of order and blessing, benevolence and fertility, strength and balance. While the God archetype seeds thought forms and ideas, the king births them and actively looks for their growth and further manifestation into existence, being the steward of these. Being with a man who is in the fullness of the king archetype feels like this. He is supportive and nurturing of the well-being and easeful participation and happiness of those he engages with. He is a stabilizing and calming influence in all circumstances. By his balance and potency, strength, effectiveness, others are comforted and influenced to imitate his example. His demeanor is seasoned and carries wisdom with it, not adolescent impulsiveness. The king archetype is complex with multiple aspects that comprise this unique expression of the divine. His wisdom carries a transpersonal selflessness like a kind father. He is an agent of the divine, having reverence for all life. He is benevolent, even-handed, calm, caring, and thoughtfully present, yet passionate in his wholehearted support. He is settled in the knowing that everything is as it should be. Everything changes, and there is no lack or anything to genuinely fear. I can think of somebody I know who's like that. And the priest is the next one. The priest archetype is possibly the least known or understood and the least supported in our culture. The priest archetype domain is that of spiritual awareness and insight, connecting with and revealing occult, that's that which is hidden, the meaning of the word occult, knowledge of the unknown realm to the enlightenment of the self and selfless benefit of the many. So the priest is the transducer, connector, and facilitator between the material and spiritual world, one's conscious personality and the divine realm of spirit. He is a mediator of the powerful energies that comprise one's inner community of archetypes and personality components, working closely with the king and the sage archetypes to create, manifest, and bring spirit into form. The priest archetype in its fullness feels like this. You are with a man who is the master of his spiritual and material realities and knows how to call forth from spiritual storehouses what he needs to transmute energies that would overtake or topple other men, but not in this fullness. He is thoughtful and reflective, having depth to his presence and intellect. He knows how to obtain higher perspective and detach from, or become neutral to, inner and outer storms, and how to connect deep inner truths and resources with his experience of life. He is not easily pushed or pulled by faddish influences, but with grace and insight, he brings power and confidence to difficult situations requiring resolution, change, or shifting. The next one is the warrior. And the warrior archetype is the most represented and exploited archetype in our culture, being elevated and revered by the dominant patriarchal society as a disciplined leader and protector. While these are two of the warrior's sterling qualities, it is what comprises his fullness that makes this archetype a truly divine expression. Warrior qualities include decisiveness and clarity of thought, selfless service, genuine humility, strength of experiential knowing, courage to do what serves the highest good, even when it is at a personal challenge to do so. He serves to maintain and support established systems and forms consciously, without blind rigidity, being exemplary in loyalty to a greater good beyond personal gain. Being in the presence of a man in the fullness of the warrior archetype feels like this. His strength of stature is evident and unheralded, not needing accolades or compliments. He contributes without fanfare or needing to direct or lord himself over others. He eagerly responds to requests of service, showing respect to all, especially those elder to him, as well as other men, women, children, animals, and the earth. He knows himself and finds his place in collaborative projects, being fulfilled and contented with the collaboration and not by ambition or competition. The man in the fullness of the warrior makes you feel safe while not being oppressed by his stature or protection. The next one is the lover. And the lover archetype is perhaps the most misunderstood and yet familiar primal energy. The lover archetype has been distorted into a selfish and dense expression that lacks breadth or spirit. Yet the lover is the meeting and combining of sex and spirit, eros, the universal urge to bond and unite. He comprises the alchemy that infuses spirit into flesh with desire, prompting engagement and erotic expression. While most commonly expressed in romantic and sexual form, the lover archetype contains a much fuller divine expression. The lover archetype in its fullness is the primal energy of passion, exquisite engagement with life, and ecstatic being in an alive and vivid worldview. The domain of the lover archetype is primal urges of being, sex, food, well-being, procreation. and is manifested in creative adaptation and initiatory experience. The lover is the epitome of sensual. He is intimately interested in all forms of sensory engagement, seeing the world in all its splendor. He is the archetype of play and healthy embodiment without shame. The lover archetype has a mystical quality that seeks to experience beauty and unity in daily life. The man experiencing the fullness of the lover archetype feels like this. He is sensual. He is open and invites you to touch his mind, body, and soul. He's connected, integrated, and relishes physical, psychological, and spiritual connection with others that highlights integrated, expanded awareness and experience. He's immersed in the experience, present in the moment, focused on the quality of the connection and engagement. He appreciates beauty in all its forms and makes each moment a work of art. He appreciates the sensuous experience of life and resonates deeply on many levels of being. He is sensitive to others' needs and moods and is intuitively responsive. He is in his body, animating it with vital energy through dance, yoga, or movement. He brings joy of life to any engagement or a conversation. He has stopped performing and has relaxed into being, feeling without pressure to accomplish or gain. And the last one is the sage. The sage archetype is a very important aspect of the divine masculine expression of our species. The sage is closely aligned with the priest archetype. However, the sage emanates an additional aspect of advocating right action, dharma. The sage is the ego in service to and right relationship with the higher self's power. The sage observes, tracks, scans, monitors data from all sources within and without, and channels wisdom leading to right action. The sage is detached from ordinary life flow, watching and engaging energies with wisdom and toned action as needed for a synchronistic harmony of life. Being with a man in the fullness of the sage archetype feels like this. Unheralded, he quietly and deftly shares with others wise counsel and channel direction that shifts the receiver into new possibilities and pathways that reflect right action for their path. He quietly supports the wisdom of others, not seeking acclaim or notice for his contribution. He is thoughtful and reflective and rests in his felt connection with the spirit and grounded connection with the earth, Gaia, the source of his wisdom and insight. The sage's importance comes to the fore during crisis and intense need. Through the uniquely formed conduit that the sage embodies, wisdom and right action become clear. With the sage's contribution, we feel confident and assured that our path is the right one for us. We respond to life with a calm easefulness that transitions crisis and change with grace and wisdom. Where the priest archetype has a primary focus on the inward realm, the sage archetype has an outward focus of service to manifest channeled wisdom into being. Okay, so those are the 6 divine masculine archetypes. And so the well work is to embrace the divine feminine within yourself. So inside the course portal, you will see a link to another article about the divine feminine. And in your contemplation this week, I think that it would be great if you examine each archetype and see where you already embody this energy. Okay, so it's to look at it from the standpoint of this, I'm already embodying this energy for myself. And there are, when you click into that link, you will find more, thorough instructions that come from that article. So the article already included the instructions on how to begin to contemplate these energies for yourself. Okay. So are there any questions on any of that? I'll give you guys a minute to type in your questions if you have any. Okay. All right, so if there are no questions, then hopefully that is not going to be an overwhelming amount of homework for you guys this week. I will say that, you could probably just do either or. If you don't feel like you can fit both of them into this week, you can do the 7-day self-love challenge over again, or you can do the contemplation and your mindfulness of the divine feminine archetypes and see what comes up for you in terms of embodying more self-love. And I guess that's all I have for tonight. So if there aren't any questions on any of that or any feedback or any comments, then I will let you guys go. Have a wonderful evening, and let me know in the group if you have any questions. Okay? Namaste, ladies. Okay, Laura said, yeah, lots of information on the subject is already out there. So what I gave you was what came directly to me. And if there's other, people with other views on it, then feel free to share that, whatever you're finding. Yeah, it is very interesting. And I think that, it's one thing to read about it. It's one thing to, have an intellectual experience with it, and it's a completely different thing to have a visceral experience with it in your body. And that's where I'm coming from, because that's what happened to me. So, yeah. So, again, I'm open to any other questions if you want to know more about my experience, or if you want to share whatever you're finding out or your own experiences. I would love to hear from you. Okay, so there's nothing else. I will say goodnight, and we will see you guys in the coming week.